Hello everyone, I'm Ava Seiler. I write historical fiction, and some of you know that next Tuesday, the 8th of November, is release day for my next book, The Summer I Found Home. It has been a really long journey to get to the point of actually publishing this book, and I am really happy that it's finally going to be available. The book started with me after I wrote The War in Our Hearts, which is a World War I book. I needed a nano project, and I started asking myself about George and Alice. The War in Our Hearts never says what happens to them after Alice goes to America and what happens to their son. And I thought, well, when he's 10, he'd be right in the middle of the Prohibition in the U.S., which could be an interesting topic for a book. And then I thought, what if George doesn't know that his parents aren't actually married? What if he's never heard of his half-sisters? I figured that would be a good starting point. So I started with that. It took a while to find the right flow and the rest of the plot for the story, how to get it all to fit. George and Alice's son, there's a hissing cat somewhere. Hey, don't hiss. George and Alice's son is also named George, so I often refer to them as Dad George and Son George, or George the Elder and George the Younger, because it's very confusing. And if I'd known he was going to have a bunch of books written about him, I would have given him a different name, but I didn't. So anyway, Son George is kind of boring on his own, in my opinion. I needed to give him a sidekick to spice things up. I am a big fan of the bickering boy-girl peers trope. Like, think of Shasta and Aravis in The Horse and His Boy, or Eustace and Jill in The Silver Chair. So I knew the friend had to be a girl, and so I invented Louise. And Louise has become pretty much my favorite character that I've ever come up with. She is so much fun. I feel like the relationship between her and George is great because they each have weaknesses and strengths. They can, when they're together, they're kind of unstoppable because he can fill in her deficiencies and she can fill in his. I like to joke that they basically act like an old married couple, like from the very beginning, bickering, and, you know, it's adorable. And yet it's so obvious that they really like each other, and especially as they get older, respect each other as well. Because yes, he didn't shut up after this book. There are 2 more coming. I think maybe he'll be satisfied after that. Anyway, one thing that's unusual about this book is that it has been so long in the making that I've already been able to draft the 2 sequels, and I also published Ripples last year, I guess. Was it last year? Yes. So Ripples gave me the solid backstory for George's parents, and already knowing pretty well what the sequels are going to be, I have been able, in this book, to pull the threads together, plant seeds, I guess, for future plot points. So they're all going to be really, I think, very unified because pretty much the major work has already been done by the time this one was ready to go to press. They will each stand alone. I've also got to illustrate this book, which is a lot of fun. That is the photograph that's the book starts out talking about. This was originally supposed to be a middle grade novel, and I love when books have pictures, so I was very glad to be able to put pictures in this book, and I hope that my readers will also enjoy them. I will keep this video short, partly because I'm running out of storage on my phone. However, if you have any questions you want answered, please drop them in the comments or send me a message. If you haven't pre-ordered the book yet, I will put links in my stories and in the description. I will be back to tell you more about the book and read you the first chapter in another video. See you then.